is the king of speaking stuff into existence. That's why I ever see no negative nothing, because that man's tongue is like he says stuff and it's just, and God is just like,
wow.
For me, sure.
So how long have you been DJing? Because you got mad skills for real.
I'm 26 years old now.
Okay.
So I started DJing when I was 15.
Wow.
15. And then I like professionally, I would say I started DJing like professionally in the clubs at like 21. And I would say that I really started like, you could see the develop, like the mass development within the past, like, I guess 2 years. The last 2 years was like, there's a post on my Instagram. I'll forward it to you guys, but I had a notebook paper when I was in high school, and I didn't know what I was gonna do in high school, because in high school I wasn't a troublemaker, but I was like the best kid in class. So yeah, I was clueless as to what I was gonna do in the future. I was very clueless. I had a point in life where I felt like I didn't belong in a lot of places, and I wrote a whole bunch of goals that I wanted to do, and right across the board was like, I want to work on Power 95.3. I want to be a DJ on the station. I want to be on the 5 o'clock mix. I want to be DJ Nasty, DJ Chino, all these people. Like I now have friends, and I look up to them.
Yes,
I have looked at like Nasty to get the graces of Nasty. When I got the 5 o'clock traffic jam, it was such a touching moment that Nasty even came to me. He was like,
wow,
yo, this is like big, like congratulations,
I started out as a model. I started out on the runways in New York City, in LA, in Miami, doing TV commercials, on print ads, on billboards, look, I was living the life in my 20s. And that all came to an end when I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disorder called neuromyelitis optica. It's called NMO for short. And what neuromyelitis optica is, it's an autoimmune disease that attacks the optic nerve and the spinal cord. And what happens when it attacks the optic nerve and the spinal cord, it also attacks your ability to walk, to use your hands, to see, to speak, memory, and a whole host of other things. And I went from being a professional model. That's what I did to make a living. People say, "Oh, I model," but they have a full-time job, and that's okay. I was a model full-time, and I lived in New York City in Manhattan, so it's cutthroat. The whole thing in New York City is cutthroat. And I went from that to walking with a walker and wearing a diaper. Wow. And I went from being on top of the world, being on red carpets, talking to celebrities, hobnobbing with the rich and famous, to wearing a diaper and being alone and not knowing what I was going to do next. Wow. And in that moment, I realized that my life up until that point was blessed.
Yes.
But this was my moment to reinvent myself and to check in and say, what is my purpose here on this earth? Is my purpose here on this earth to make it all about me? Or is my purpose on this earth to help other people feel fulfilled in their life? Because I'll tell you, when I was in my early, mid and late 20s, I was not fulfilled as a woman in my life. I was spiritually barren, completely empty on the inside, making money, living in Manhattan, going to all the parties, hobnobbing with all the important people, and I felt very empty and very alone. And at that point, I said, that's it. I'm reinventing myself, and have gone through a journey from that point until now to relearn how to walk, relearn how to properly speak, relearn how to zipper my zipper, button my buttons, tie my shoes, relearn how to use a spoon and a fork, and a host of all other things. And I'm here to share that story and that message to anyone who will listen. All of us are on a journey in life. And one of the things that I've found, especially in these last 5 years of my life, is that putting on a front for people never works. And no matter how much you try to put a mask on, people always know something's off. Do you ever notice, like, when you meet someone and something's just not clicking for you, like no matter how much they're being nice, no matter how funny they are, something just seems a little bit off. And that's really authenticity. How authentic are they being in that moment? And are they there with you? Are they being present with you? Are they connecting with you on a deeper level? And look, I'm of the previous generation. I did not grow up with social media. I didn't grow up with all of this stuff, right? I'm a Generation X woman. And all of the kids now, everybody's doing like this. Everybody's doing like this. People are consuming information and consuming everything digitally. And so I thought to myself, in order for me to be authentic, I must own up to my inauthenticity on my social media.
Wow.
Right? And so that's what it came about. And look, it's not about being perfect, but it's about being real. I mean, I even have clients who have told me, I'm getting stressed out. I am overwhelmed. I have anxiety because I find myself comparing my life to people on Instagram. Yeah. And that is a real situation, especially with our kids in their 20s and 30s. They're struggling with that. They're looking and comparing themselves to others and saying, I don't measure up.